The power of storytelling, which makes your words memorable. Amplify Your Influence Part 5 Feet. Imagine, a speaker comes onto the stage. They have facts, data, experience, and complete preparation for speaking. But as soon as they start speaking, the audience's faces start looking blank. Some people start looking at their phones, some lean back in their chairs, and some are just politely nodding their heads. The speaker is speaking, but the point is not reaching the audience's hearts. The fear starts from here, because if your point does not become a story, it remains just information. And information is everywhere today, but what remains remembered is only that which becomes an emotion. The curiosity is exactly this. What is it in a story that makes the same point, which sounds boring when spoken directly, settle into people's minds as soon as it becomes a story? In the previous parts, we understood the entire foundation of influence. In part 1, we talked about attention, that in today's world, getting people's attention is the most difficult task. In part 2, we learned sequence, meaning, changing the order of the point can change its impact. Even the right point, if said in the wrong sequence, can create resistance. In part 3, we understood the power of the frame. If you don't build the frame of your point yourself, the audience starts understanding your message through their old fears and experiences. In part 4, tie-down came, where the speaker locks the exact meaning of their point in the audience's mind. That is, the audience doesn't just listen, but understands exactly what the speaker wants them to understand. Now part 5 comes to that skill which makes all these things come alive. That skill is storytelling. Many people think that storytelling is only for writers, filmmakers, or famous speakers. They feel that a great talent is needed to create a story. But the truth is that every person has stories. Every day, every meeting, every failure, every fear, every small victory hides a story within it. What happened to you, what you saw, what you felt, that is the material for your story. You only need to learn to recognize it. Rene Rodriguez connects this to a signature story. A signature story is the story that conveys your thinking, your values, and your message to the audience in a personal way. This story is not copied from any book. It emerges from your own life, observations, and experiences. This is the reason why a signature story has authenticity. The audience feels that the speaker is not selling anything, they have lived something and come here. Rene observed many such stories during the New York blackout. He was in a meeting, and suddenly the city drowned in darkness. Imagine, one of the busiest cities in the world, and suddenly the power goes out. Confusion, fear, and uncertainty are born in people's minds. At such a time, most people only see the problem. But a communicator also sees a story. Rene saw how different people were reacting in the blackout. Someone was worried, someone was calm, someone was helping others. He observed the hotel bellman who was guiding people despite the stress. He saw the staff who were distributing glow sticks to the guests so that they could see the way in the dark. Here the story was not just about the blackout. The story was about human behavior in a crisis. The story was that when there is darkness outside, some people become a light for others. This is the real power of storytelling. It turns an event into meaning. If someone just says that a blackout happened, it is information. But if someone tells that in a blackout, a hotel worker was keeping the guests calm, it is a story. Information goes into the mind. A story goes into both the mind and the heart. That is why a good storyteller sees material everywhere. On the road, in the office, at home, in travel, in the market, a story is hidden everywhere. The problem is not that we don't have stories. The problem is that we don't record them. The communicator who writes down the small observations of their life gradually builds a collection of powerful stories. Today you might see a shopkeeper's honesty. Tomorrow, an employee's struggle. The day after, a child's curiosity. All of these can become a part of future speeches. But finding a story is not enough. You also need a way to tell the story. Rene talks about storytelling formulas. These are patterns that humans understand easily. One pattern is overcoming the monster. Where a challenge appears, there is fear, but the character fights it. The second pattern is rags to riches, meaning rising from the bottom to the top. This story works because every human hopes for growth. The third pattern is quest, meaning a search. In this, the character sets out in search of a goal, answer, or truth. One pattern is voyage and return. A person takes an outside journey, learns something, and returns having changed. In rebirth stories, the character breaks from within, then rises as a new person. This transformation connects deeply with the audience. Comedy and tragedy are also powerful in their own place. Comedy gives relief, and tragedy connects us to the seriousness of life. These formulas work because our mind understands stories in patterns. When the pattern is recognizable, the audience connects quickly. Rene's blackout story can be seen as a quest. People were searching for a path in the darkness, and every reaction was giving a new lesson. But storytelling is not just structure. It needs both heart and mind. The mind provides the structure. The heart provides the emotion. If there is no structure in a story, it will fall apart. If there is no emotion, it will feel dry. This is the reason why personal values are hidden in a powerful story. The speaker's belief, struggle, and lesson reach the audience indirectly. When we watch a good movie, we don't just watch scenes. We feel the character's journey. We are happy at their victory, sad at their defeat, and start seeing our own fear in their fear. This same connection can happen in a speech as well. If a speaker tells a story in the right way, the audience doesn't just listen, they feel. Researchers like 𝐮𝐸𝐿 have connected storytelling with attention, empathy, and behavior. Their research shows that compelling narratives can emotionally engage people. This means that a story is not just entertainment. A story is both a scientific and emotional tool of influence. When there is tension in a story, the audience wants to know what will happen next. This curiosity captures attention. When there is character pain in a story, the audience feels empathy. This empathy builds a connection between the speaker and the listener. When the lesson in a story is clear, the tie-down tells the audience what to learn from this story. This is where the lesson of part 4 connects again. Telling a story is not enough. It is also necessary to tie it down. If you told the blackout story and didn't tie it down, the audience would just say, "It was interesting." But if you say, "In a crisis it is not your position but your response that shows your leadership," then the story becomes a lesson. This is the influence objective of storytelling. Which emotion do you want to awaken? Which thought do you want to leave behind? Which action do you want them to take? If the objective is clear, the story becomes powerful. If the objective is unclear, the story remains just an anecdote. Storytelling is necessary in YouTube scripts because the viewer doesn't just want information. They want an experience. If you start explaining the topic directly, the viewer might skip. But if you take them into a scene, they stay. A scene activates the imagination. Like an airport, a dark room, an interview table, a board meeting, or a silent classroom. When the viewer starts seeing the scene, only then do they enter the story. Then fear comes. What if this problem happens to me? What if my idea gets rejected? What if no one listens to me? Then curiosity comes. What is the solution to this? What happened next? How did that person handle the situation? This is the hook, and this is the beginning of storytelling. But it is necessary to avoid exaggeration in storytelling. A story can be made dramatic, not fake. If the story feels true, the audience will trust it. If the story feels forced, the audience will disconnect. Natural storytelling means speaking like an experienced person sitting right in front of you. You don't need heavy words for this. Simple words, clear emotions, and the right pauses are enough. A good story has a beginning, where the situation is built. Then tension comes, where the problem appears. Then a turning point comes, where the character makes a decision. And in the end, a lesson comes, where the audience gets the meaning. This structure works in a short personal story, as well as in a big documentary script. If you are a creator, start writing your own stories. On which day did you make a mistake? In which moment did you feel fear? Which event changed your way of thinking? In every story, don't look at whether it is big or small. Look at whether it has a lesson or not. Many times, a small story leaves the biggest impact, like the story of getting a child to brush, or the story of the A grade in an interview. The power of these stories was not in the event, but in the meaning. The brushing story explained the purpose of a habit. Janice's story connected achievement with resilience. The blackout story showed leadership in a crisis. This is storytelling, extracting meaning from an event, and connecting that meaning to the audience's life. From part 1 to part 5, the entire chain is now formed. Starting with attention, the path through sequence, the perspective through the frame, meaning through the tie-down, and emotion through storytelling. When all these come together, communication does not remain just a speech. It becomes an experience, and people do not forget an experience quickly. That is why a master communicator turns facts into a story, and turns a story into a lesson. But still, one question remains. The story is found, the structure is also understood, but how to control voice, pause, speed and body language while speaking it? Because if the same story is told in a flat voice, the impact can be broken. And if the same story is told with the right energy, it can settle into the audience's mind forever. In the next part, the curiosity will be what the real art of delivery is after storytelling, and how a communicator makes the message come alive with their voice, face, and presence.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.